I'm afraid that if I say no to Jeffrey Epstein on this deal, I'm not going to get an invite to the next party. I'm not going to be able to get laid again.
Narrative.
Where you at, Berto?
Joe Rogan is in damage control over the Epstein files.
Very specific illicit desire to want underage people.
Well,
how do you even find out that someone's into that?
Well, I don't think that the majority or anything close to it of the women were technically. I think it was largely
young,
very young, barely legal, so to speak. But and I know that there were cases of underage, but I think
most of it was just
very, very young, but not like
20-year-old,
not
girls,
like 13
18-year-old
type thing. And then, remember, because this is an international enterprise, and many of the clients are in countries that don't necessarily have the same norms about that that we do.
Oh my God, the grift of the century, bro. I hate when niggas get up on here and say shit like this. You're a grown ass man, bro. You got gray hair in your face, gang. Why are you trying to justify what other countries are doing, man? You got gray hairs in your face, bro. Don't be weird. Holy shit, this shit's crazy.
You can very easily see someone getting involved in that just because girls juice deals.
All right, so the Joe Rogan experience is just getting sad at this point. It feels like it's turned into a PR tool for the Epstein clients. After maybe the biggest file drop yet, Joe had on Mike Benz, who is a Elon Musk lackey. So of course there's no mention of Elon during this podcast, even though his emails are one of the biggest revelations from the files, which now Elon, Mr. Free Speech, is threatening to sue people for talking about it or even associating him with the files. I'm sure Joe will have a lot to say about that. No, Rogan is cooked. People used to look forward to hearing him talk about stuff like this, but now he's way too connected to people involved with Epstein. So he has to ignore and downplay a lot of the information coming out. Also, a lot of his guests work for or are associated with people in the Epstein files as well. So he rarely hears an unbiased perspective on them. If he really wanted a good rundown of the recent file drop, he'd have on somebody like CoffeeZilla. He's probably done the best reporting on it, and he's impartial. He has no incentive to protect anybody. So he'd be the best person to hear from. But instead, Joe talked about the recent files with Mike Benz, who's part of the establishment. He worked for the government. He worked under Trump's first administration, and he panders to Elon Musk. So this guy is not an objective source at all when it comes to the Epstein files. And during this podcast, he spent a lot of time trying to downplay.
Elon just looks like one of them, bro. Look at this. This doesn't look like a face of somebody that can be trusted, man. Yeah, I know I'm judging. I'm not supposed to do that, but holy.
But also almost justify the child sex trafficking allegations and convince people that it wasn't a blackmail operation, which Rogan barely pushed back on. He used to say it's a pedo island with cameras everywhere. They have dirt on all these high-profile people. But now it's were they really underage girls? Is there a blackmail operation?
And Jeffrey Epstein, for the past 3 years of their lives has been the best weekend they've ever had. Has made them feel alive again in their mid-50s or 60s. Has opened all sorts of other deals for them. And this deal might work out. So I'm afraid that if I say no to Jeffrey Epstein on this deal, I'm not going to get an invite to the next party. I'm not going to be able to get laid again with.
In the public eye, the narrative is underage girls.
Relying on another grown man to get laid is crazy. I don't give a fuck how old you is, nigga. What?
And this is the thing that makes it so disgusting. When people talk about it, everyone says kids on the island. This is the big conspiracy about it, and this is the reason why people are so outraged about it.
My concern with the runaway train on that is that it's a massive manhunt for something that it may be true. To me, it's a needle in the haystack. It might be true. Good luck looking for it. It would seem ludicrous.
When niggas have to be this cautious about what they saying, it's yo, bro, they got a gun to the back of your head about this shit, bro. Just say how you feel, gang. There's enough evidence out there showing that some weird shit was going down. Why is it these niggas are it may be true, but not really though. You know, there's very possible that it wasn't true, and it's like, holy shit, bro, just speak. Tell us what you're thinking.
Chris, to me, that
These niggas ain't got no mind of their own. They bots, bro.
Doesn't mean it's impossible. But logistically, if Epstein ever directly threatened someone proactively, that is, if the person tries to blackmail Epstein, Epstein could, you know, reactively say, well, I've got shit on you too. But proactively and really do someone in like that, and word gets around that happens, everything he built goes, the whole Rolodex finds out.
So he's protecting Epstein. That's all I heard right here. He's literally just made a walk this way and get out of it story for Epstein. That's just came out of his mouth.
Yo, real quick, before we get back into the video, I know you guys usually skip these type of ads, but give me 1 second. My guys over at Free Cash are sponsoring this video, and if you like money, I think you'd like to stick around. Free Cash is an application where you can earn free money just for playing games. It is 100% free to sign up using the QR code on the screen or the link in my description. Only thing that you're gonna need is an email or a password. And the games on this platform are actually fun, and all you have to do is complete basic missions and very simple tasks to reach the requirements to actually get paid. And as soon as you do that, they credit your account right away with real money that you can use in the real world. I'm talking about gift cards, PayPal, however you need to get your funds, they got it. And something that I've been seeing a little bit y'all talking about is like,
Oh, they're collecting my data.
listen, they only track your progress so they know when to pay you. And let me break down exactly why they're paying you free cash in the first place. The games that are on these platforms are trying to get exposure. So the games pay free cash to pay you guys to play the games. If you really think about it, it's just business. It's a win-win situation. These games get more people onto their platform playing their games, and you get a little bit of extra chicken in your pockets. And I've had so many of you guys reach out to me already saying that you've made $5 to $10 just playing games that you would be playing for free anyway. And I know $5 to $10 isn't like life-changing money, but it's free money to play games on your phone. And the crazy part is, I've actually had people tell me that they've had crazy payouts like $500, one even $1,000. I'm not saying to quit your day job, but the fact that that's even possible, I mean, bro, it's free. So if you ask me, there's really nothing to lose, just everything to gain, honestly, if you like playing games on your free time. So click the link in my description or try the QR code on my screen to sign up for free, and you'll even get a $5 bonus using my stuff. I love y'all. Where you at, family? Let's get right back into the video.
Where you at, Berto?
So it sounds like he's trying to convince people it's not really worth looking into the underage trafficking and blackmail aspect of the files. But then he'd go on these long-winded monologues about the more important aspects of it, and he'd just be all over the place. Like, he'd be talking about Epstein, then jump to like 10 other topics. And people in the comments are just like, I've never heard someone say so much without saying anything. And Rogan posted a clip of them talking about the Epstein files to the JRE Clips channel, and all the comments are negative, calling Rogan a sellout and saying he's compromised and trying to do damage control. Because there's so much new information from the recent files release, and it seems like Joe and his guest didn't talk about any of that. And instead his guest tried to convince people that it's not really worth looking into the child trafficking aspect of it. You know, the most heinous part of the files isn't worth looking into. So we used to hear Epstein had compromising tapes and pictures on all these high profile people. You know, his whole house was rigged with cameras, but now Rogan's guest is trying to convince us that there was none of that because word would get out. He tries to say if Epstein told someone he has dirt on them, they'd go running and tell their wife, which just sounds ridiculous. You know, if Epstein told someone he had a video of them molesting a kid, I don't know if they'd want to go tell someone about that, especially their wife. Also, he's like, nobody's even ever claimed they've been blackmailed by Epstein. But again, why the hell would you admit that? Why would you want to tell anybody if you were? And I'm sure a lot of the blackmail is implied. Like, Epstein didn't really have to threaten many people because you just assume if you're at an Epstein party, there's probably video of it.
I've never been convinced that the central role of the Epstein young girl, in my view, sidebar of the Epstein money laundering.
Yo, these niggas are speaking like this nigga's still here with us with a gun to the back of their head, bro. And it's like, regardless of anything, I see that and I'm already like, nah, something's weird, bro. Why is this topic so like niggas walking on eggshells, tipping around and shit?
Story
Something's off.
Is that it was for blackmail. And part of this is because the moment Jeffrey Epstein,
this nigga stuttering saying his name like he's goddamn Beetlejuice,
formally officially threatens somebody with blackmail, and that person tells his wife, and that wife tells her friends, and that gets out to somebody else that knows Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's access goes away overnight. That's the sort of thing that even a rumor of that spreading, and nobody else is going to want to do business with them.
So you think people just assume it's blackmail because that is how you would blackmail someone, especially underage girls?
I think it is very possible that there could have been indirect blackmail, meaning Epstein passes it on
Holy shit.
to an intelligence
What
service,
the fuck
to
are you saying right now?
to a corporate espionage client or something. But even then, I mean, imagine, for example, if, like on the Bill Gates thing, like there was Bill Gates gets an email, I have a video of you sleeping with this person, and or somebody much lower level. The moment they send that to the press, if in order to, they figure they have nothing to lose. I mean, there's not been anybody in the 7 years that's transpired who said I was personally blackmailed by Jeffrey Epstein. I think because the moment you do that, nobody comes to your parties anymore. You lose all the access. You lose all the deal flow.
And it's funny he mentions Bill Gates because that's an example where it looks like Epstein was definitely trying to blackmail him. Like Epstein was trying to hold that prostitution story over his head to get him to do business deals, which was one of the biggest takeaways from the files. So it's weird now he's trying to tell us that there's no blackmail when we basically got proof of it from the recent files. And it's also weird he's trying to convince us that there wasn't much trafficking of underage girls going on, because he also at the same time talks about how the societal norms and laws are different in other countries, so it isn't as frowned upon to be with young girls, like implying that maybe he did traffic young girls, but he was facilitating them to people in other countries where it isn't as big of a deal. Like he compared it to this other company that was working with the US government. It was trafficking underage girls to high-profile people in the Middle East. And their defense for it was the government wanted them to help facilitate deals, and this was the best way to go about it.
U.S. military and CIA contractor for logistics and institutional support and military assistance on the ground for the U.S. military all over the world. They got in trouble basically trafficking underage kids to Middle Eastern sheikhs. And I believe the reason that was alleged by Congress that they did that was to juice the deals with them. That in order to serve your purpose for the U.S. government, to be this outside, plausibly deniable, but extensively infrastructured professional support outfit on the ground, you need the support of the local government. You need the support of the local high-level officials. They need to be happy. And there's several currencies for that. There's financial payoffs, and there's other things they might like parties and young women.
Yeah, I'm not hearing this, bro. I'm not hearing this. Like, this shit's just weird, bro. They try to justify PDF file activity in all different types of ways, gang. There's no justifying that shit, my nigga. I don't give a fuck what type of deals they was trying to run. Why does the anchor in the deal have to be fucking kids? What the fuck? What are you saying right now, gang? I don't care what country it's in and what's got going on, bro.
Especially in places where being with the very young female is not illegal. And so I believe their argument was, well, you wanted us to do this thing
I know
on
they were
the
explaining
ground.
it, but holy shit.
You wanted us to help the U.S. military and, kind of covert support nodes that were happening here. We had to do it somehow. This is part of what helped us do that. I would not be surprised if the Epstein trafficking apparatus started with similar motivations. Not that it's not necessarily for blackmail, but because it makes clients or customers or VIP people happy. It makes them owe you something. It makes them want to get involved in a deal you do. And then, remember, because this is an international enterprise, and many of the clients are like, in countries that don't necessarily have the same norms about that
Right.
that we do. You can very easily see someone getting involved in that just because girls juice deals. And so I don't think that Epstein, I've not seen evidence, and in my view, you don't need any of that to understand the core part of the Epstein story that has relevance to your life today in terms of your own government and the workings of power and corporate finance and the like.
So this is what the Joe Rogan experience has turned into. It's crazy.
Wow.
And he'll probably just ignore Elon's emails and all the relevant information in the files. You know, now he's got to be really careful when he has on his comedian friends, because they usually just go off about this stuff and don't hold back. I mean, it seems like every episode he does now with Theo Von, Tim Dillon, or Kurt Metzger, and he gets really uncomfortable and tries to change the topic a lot because he doesn't want to upset his tech friends and his friends in the government who are all over the Epstein files. But hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe he'll surprise me and have on someone like Whitney Webb or CoffeeZilla, but I doubt it. I think he's in too deep. Let me know what you guys think about it, though.
Word, man. Nah, this Epstein file stuff has been getting crazy, bro. Some of the stuff that's been popping up, I would not have expected that to be on my bingo card. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this situation in the comment section, man. It's kind of, sad to see people like Joe Rogan, who, were once so rooted in like getting on there and just telling it exactly how it is and bringing on people that really gonna expose the real. It kind of just feel like they grifting and just kind of almost coping to PR the Epstein situation into being like it's not that big of a deal. But hey, like bro said, maybe it'll surprise us. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Where you at, family? I'll see you on the next one.
Where you at, Berto?
I made this shit look sweet.